I'm here to impart my wisdom about what I've learned in life.
I will make absolutely sure that you have every opportunity that life has to offer.
I'm not going to lie to you. The only way to guarantee success is with an education. And in order to prepare you for a top school, you have to go to a great preschool.
Hi, I'm Sophia Jessica, and this is Angel, and welcome to the fan carpet.
Hi, Marc.
Hi, Charity. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. You've got a great beard.
Thank you. We actually met 11 years ago. We interviewed you for Scar Tissue, so this is kind of a full circle moment for us.
Wow, couldn't get a more different film.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll dive straight in. What was it about this project that enticed you to get involved?
I just thought it was really fun, to be honest with you. And I'm a parent of a 4-year-old, well, now a 5-year-old, but I was last year a parent of a 4-year-old, and I was looking at, where's my kid going to go to school? And then in came this script about parents worrying about where their kids was going to go to school, and I thought, well, I'm the right person for this job. I thought the script was really fun, it had a lot of potential, and I really liked the character. I thought she was kind of, very funny, and also there was a lot in there, to kind of find in what her background was and what she really felt about kind of her own place as a mother. I thought that was good territory to explore.
Yeah, awesome. So what was Josh like to work with? Because obviously he's not only directing the piece, but he's also playing your husband in the show, in the film. So how was that dynamic?
I have to be honest, when I took on the role, I did think, God, this is potentially, quite tricky, because is the director going to have time if they're going to be on set all the time? And like, is it going to be in any way weird or difficult? But it was an absolute dream. I think he's really, really good at directing, and he was very open in the way that he wanted us to kind of really take hold of our characters. The script was initially written to be set in America, and they wanted to film it in London, and they wanted us to make sure that the film felt British. And in doing that, he really allowed us, all of us actors in the film, to kind of embellish our characters and make sure that they felt really set in England, in their own different backgrounds of England. And he encouraged us to improvise. Michael Socha is known for his improvising, comes from the whole background of working with Shane Meadows. And I was more nervous about working with him actually than Josh, because I'd had this time to talk to Josh about the part, and he's also a parent, and he was just very kind of down to earth actually. I was sort of expecting this movie star to be Skyping me, and he was very, very Skype, that's my age, Zooming me. He was really relaxed and very encouraging about developing the part. And then I met Michael, and I was like, I've seen Michael in so much stuff. Not to say I haven't seen Josh and stuff, but I've seen Michael in a lot, and I felt a bit nervous. And he's just also really lovely person to work with, and very relaxed, and really kind of yeah, just up for it. Just the improvisation game of the whole thing was great learning curve. I think I've got
What?
you. So I think you said, what am I hoping the audience will take away from the film?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that I hope they have fun. First and foremost, I just want them to laugh. I think I like the way that it's a very kind of gentle film in many ways. It sets itself up gently, and you're supposed to really believe in the characters, and then slowly it's kind of a comedy of manners, really. It becomes funnier and funnier and funnier, and more extreme and more extreme. I think we
Mm.
all need escapism at the moment. Everybody needs to just be able to relax and to laugh. And I think this film provides something that we can laugh at. It's quite universal. Most people will know somebody with children, and will have seen, if not experienced in their own life, the difficulty of what parenting is like. How do you make the right choices for your children? How do you support them and give them your absolute best without trying to sort of channel them too much into a specific direction that isn't really naturally coming from them? All of these things that come out in the film, are so universal. We've all experienced it to some degree, even as children growing up. You know, we've all looked at our parents and wondered about their decisions. So I feel like it's really relatable. I want them to really enjoy themselves. And I also think that there are moments in the film to think about human nature, to think about how we relate to each other in relationships. And and I think there's a level of when you look at the principal storyline, which is about the competition between the men, I think it's really lovely the way that the film gives them time towards the end of the film to contemplate what's happened. They've gotten into this massive competitive thing, and what's come up in them as parents is quite substantial. And they have this lovely moment to talk about that. And I think that's quite rare for men on screen to talk about what drives them to these extremes, what is making them to be so competitive, and what are they kind of suppressing in some way that makes them act in such a kind of crazy way. So there's a lot in the film really, as well as it being funny. So I hope people enjoy it.
Awesome. So what was the moment on set where you realized that this was going to be fun and a bit chaotic?
This was about moment 5 seconds into the first thing that we shot, to be honest with you. The first thing we shot was the padel scene, and with, by the way, absolutely no prep. So we didn't have much time on this movie anyway, and we had a load of improvisation allowed. So you can imagine that we were just in there all the time, not really much time to change in between. Like, as you can kind of see from our costumes, like very quick changes for costumes, straight in, straight out. And that padel scene was mostly improvised. There were only about 2 lines in it, and it's actually got quite a lot of screen time in it. It was the first thing we did together, and it was the funniest experience. I actually bumped my head massively as I was doing it as well, because I got so into the game that I walked backwards and backwards and backwards and ended up bumping my head on the fence. That was very funny. And then the bit where the two guys are just kind of going at it. And I really loved the fact that we were allowed to just play around. We were literally like playing a game, getting to know each other as actors, and getting into our characters. And then the next day when we came in, the editor had already sent us a kind of approximation of what the scene could be. So it was a longer take of what the scene would be, but it showed us immediately that there was loads to be found in our improv, and he cherry picked all the really funny bits. And he often, I think, the editor Marc, he finds the stuff that's slightly off the main sense of the story, and he just peppers it in there. And I find when I'm watching it, I'm sort of laughing and then like finding extra little kind of giggles all the way through, because there's just little bits of stuff that's been found by the editor, and that's no mean feat when you've got lots and lots of footage of people improvising. So it was like day 1 and 2. I was like, this is a dream. I absolutely love doing it.
Is that something that you would describe it as, or is there a humor with more heart?
I think definitely humor with heart. Yeah. And I actually don't think you can have one without the other. I think all the best comedies have something meaningful at the base of it. And I think even, I think that sometimes, even in the most serious situations in life, people find things funny, sometimes inappropriately so. Not everybody finds the same thing funny at the same time, but I've certainly been in some quite difficult scenarios where something unexpected has happened and it's just been absolutely hilarious. And I'm sort of laughing and crying at the same time. This film is definitely designed to be funny. It's looking at the difficulties of parenthood. It's looking at how to live, how to be happy, how to bring your children up, how to have fun, how to meet new people when you're a bit older, and all the kind of idiosyncrasies around that. There's a lot of comedy, but at its heart, it looks at what it's like to want someone to be okay, what it's like to look at your children and to love them, and to have really wanted to have children, and to know that they're safe, and to know that they're going to be okay in the world, and the lengths that you will go to do that. And that takes you kind of into quite a serious place in a way, because it relates to your own childhood and to your own feelings about yourself, and your place in the world. What's happened to you? Who helped you along the way? What was good for you as a child? What was not good? What did you not get that you think that you want to give to your child? And those things are sometimes really, really subconscious, we don't really know sometimes what drives us to be very competitive about a certain point, or to kind of push for a certain specific way with something. And what I like about the way the film's edited and the way that Josh kind of directed it is that it allows us to see this really kind of extreme comedy version of these two couples, and then there's moments for reflection in the film to look at how do we talk about our feelings,
Absolutely, yeah, there absolutely is. And just finally, what are you working on next that you can tell us about?
Well, I'm actually producing a couple of things at the moment that I'll
Very
be
cool.
announcing soon. So I've been working over the last few years to kind of research and develop some things. And so I'm just starting to direct myself, and the things that I've been researching and developing will start to kind of have more of a presence soon, and I'll be kind of formalizing those things over the next few months. So that's really exciting. I also did another film last year called Switch, with a director called Thaisa Diva. And that's a really very, very, very different film. Also a comedy, probably slightly more kind of satirical, I would say, but that'll be coming out later in the summer too.
Wonderful. So was that always part of your plan to go behind the camera?
It wasn't part of my plan, but I think it feels like a natural progression since I'm someone that really enjoys looking at what everybody else is doing on set. I think some actors much prefer to just be in their own zone, and you see them on set, they've just got headphones on, they're only thinking about what they're doing. And I'm that person sort of just like, what's that? I've made some mistakes too in the past. Like my first big job was Sense and Sensibility, and I was on that set almost every single day for 3 months. And I got told off all the time because I would go and try and help people sort of move cables or set lighting up. You get to know what everybody is doing and what people need help with, and it's quite hard as a person to be sat around, if you're like me, watching other people not have enough time to do a certain thing if you think that you can go and help. And obviously I was told often, don't do that, especially not in costume. We need to know where you are, you're the actor, that's not your job. But I feel like over the years I've learned a lot about how the different departments work together, about what they do, and hopefully that'll stand me in good stead for moving forward as a director.
Absolutely. Well, Charity, it's always a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Marc. Take care. Have a lovely day.
Take care.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. Please follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram for more content. Bye for now.
You're crazy. I just want the same thing. What's best for our children? Get off.
I just think you need a doctor.
Yeah.
You show what you can do. I hear a siren. Maybe you were wrong about me. I'm dangerous and still. Why don't you give me a sign like the sea? It's not your problem, it's mine. Everybody thinks that I'm okay. Sometimes I think I am too. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm waiting for the shockwaves to begin. Oh, won't you let me hold you for one time? Just a rainy day in a London cafe. A London cafe. So give me one last serenade. Say to me, you'll
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.